I don't know. You wanna stop by later? Maybe I'll come fix something tea. You wanna grab something from the street and bring it home? But yeah,
My name is Hazel Williams, and I am a paranormal researcher. I'm not a Ghostbuster because I don't believe you can bust them. And I am the founder of Spectrum Paranormal Investigations here in the UK. Also a television presenter on Paranormal Captured and the world's Most Unexplained as well. Basically, I'm a talking head for these shows. Give my, personal opinion on the subject. Well, basically, I received a phone call. My company did Spectrum Paranormal Investigations, and we had an interview a year prior to the show for another show, which was being shown on Sky TV, and they were looking for people to talk about the ancient Ram Inn. And anyways, so me being a bit of a motor mouth, I was talking to one of the producers, a lovely young lady called Rochelle Newman, and we sort of clicked. You know when you click with someone? Well, we clicked, and she was like, "Oh my God, I am definitely having you on one of my shows one day, no matter what." She said, I need to get you on TV. She said, "You're so funny." She goes, "And your knowledge of the paranormal is just absolutely perfect." She goes, "Whenever we make another series of something else, we won't be able to use you for this series because we never had the footage. Even though we'd investigated the ancient Ram Inn, we didn't have the footage per se to send to Sky what they were after." So, but anyway, a year later, phone goes, and the rest is history. I was invited for to do a Zoom sort of conference thing, and sort of the other team, the editors and directors can see, what I'm like as a person, blah blah blah, my personality, and and then I got the call saying, "We want you on the show," and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Oh, this is it! It's amazing," and the rest has been fantastic along the way. It really has. It's been a bit of a joyride, say the least. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It opened so many doorways for me, and to get a response from members of the public, I get emails from people from all around the world, that say to me personally, just listening to your interpretation of what's going on is so refreshing, because you're always hearing the same thing about orbs and about this and that, and everyone seems to have one narrative of UFOs or whatever. And I'll be honest with you, even though the public never get to see this, and I'm sure other cast members give more than what you actually see in terms of information. It's the way the show's edited that, obviously they only have a limited amount of time. I mean, I'll go into great detail on UFO sightings and things. I'll talk about all the gubbins that are going on, like say for instance on the monitor, like for the Fleur, for instance, of the Tic Tac video. I'll give out basically what all the indicators are on the Fleur and things like that, but they don't want all that. They don't want all the technical stuff. They just want me on screen to say, "Oh yeah, oh, it's got flashing lights, it goes up and down, isn't it great?" That sort of thing. It's a shame, but unfortunately, that's television for you. But it has been a positive experience. I have met so many people, like I say, from all around the world, people like yourself who've enjoyed the show, and people that have said I've inspired them in ways as well, which I find really amazing, because I get quite bashful, and I think, so I lie in bed sometimes, I think, oh my God, I can't believe someone's just actually messaged me from, like Washington or wherever, or even Canada, just to say, well, we see you on TV last night, I just wanted to say hi, I think you're fantastic and all that. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, thank you, I think you're fantastic as well. And it's great to have that, and I love that communication, because and no one's been abusive to me yet, so that's pretty good. That and probably my personality. I think my personality comes across quite well on TV. And no, sorry, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. No, I think my personality comes across more refreshing. I did a morning TV show with my nephew Dean over here. Very, like the Good Morning Britain or whatever it is. It's like a popular thing, and it was a Halloween special. And the two hosts, a husband and wife team, Eamon and Ruth. They had us on the show, and it was a bit confusing, because they gave us they sent us all the video footage, and they wanted us to comment on the video footage, and they said, right, okay, Hazel, this is your section, Dean, this is your section. So I watched my section, Dean watched his section. When we got on the show live, they swapped it all around. They swapped the whole, they gave me all Dean's, and they gave Dean all mine. So I had to spin it off, like thinking fast. But they didn't like what I was saying, because I was telling the truth about, the way that cameras work on HDR settings, like these monitors, they, at the frame rate, they'll film at 15 frames per second. Some film at 7 frames per second. So, and when people put their child to bed at night in their nursery, and they're laying in their crib, and then the parents have walked out of the room, okay, they don't realise they kicked up a load of dust, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, there's angels floating around my bed, my child's bed. Or they'll see something shoot up, and they'll go, a spirit shot through the cot, and you're like, oh no, please, it ain't. Is when you explain that to the public, they sometimes they don't want to hear that. They want to hear because they believe it's a spirit, but it isn't. I mean, as you know, you're a ghost hunter yourself, so surely, but anyway, the mass public don't want to hear that, the scientific explanation, or the correct explanation of what these things are happening in children's rooms at night, So anyway, he was getting very shirty with me a little bit. He was like, yeah, well, Hazel, this is getting us nowhere. And I'm thinking, like, but it is. I'm explaining what you've asked me to explain. You wanted me to explain what was going on in the video. I've explained it, and anyway, yeah, so he got a little bit sort of thingy. But that's TV for you, They switch it to suit their narrative, so that the public get to see what they want. They want the spooky stuff. I don't do spooky stuff. I've been sort of, we always make it known to, like we've just done a thing with James Blunt, the musician, and at the end they wanted us to be on the Ouija board and to sort of make contact, and I said to him, listen, James can go on the Ouija board on his own, and if he wants to say, is my album going to be a success and all that, I said, let James do that. I said, I don't want any part of that. And you have to put a disclaimer in that Spectrum Paranormal Investigations were not part of that particular scene, because I don't want all my work trashed, 26 years of work and research trashed for a 5-minute video, because that's not fair on myself. James Blunt, what a lovely man, and he was so funny. He's a lovely guy. And we done another video shoot for Spotify. Pink Pantheress, this up and coming TikTok artist. We done one with her, and we said the same thing. They wanted jump scares, and we said, listen, we don't do jump scares, right? And they said, well, we need her to look, scared, and so on and so forth. I said, I don't do that. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to take her on an investigation. We done the filming in a place called Allington Castle, which was absolutely magnificent. Like, you would love this place. It's straight out of like Vladimir's castle, like Vladimir Dracula. But anyway, this place was great. And so anyway, I just said, just let the night do its own thing, and if something happens, it happens. That's, authentic. You don't need to throw something down the stairs or jump out at her to make her scared. I said, I said, I'll do the video, but anything to do with that, I'm out. I'm gone. And because I'm not gonna fake it. I ain't gonna fake it just for the sake of fame or for TV or anything. I'll just walk away. And do you know what? To be honest with you, Trevor, we've had more TV offers from a lot of companies who have contacted us time and time again, and they say, oh, we're making a TV show and we want your team to be in it. We want you to do this, do that. And we say, no, sorry, we're not doing that, because we're not going to sell ourselves, for your entertainment. So you can have us walking down a spooky dark corridor, and you've got, eerie music and all. No, I don't want that. I'd rather be a clean cut, proper ghost hunting program. That's what you need. Like, well, obviously, sorry to interrupt you, Trevor. When I've done the world's Most Unexplained, now I really enjoyed that, because that's real. When you talk about, I was talking about Renaissance art and UFOs. I was talking about the curse of Egypt. I was talking about the curse of numbers, things like that. And that to me was more interesting, and I deem that sort of like a real paranormal show, because you're delving into all paranormal subjects, and it's not just that sort of, I won't name any shows because I'm not that sort of person. Only ones that I've been in. But I think it's time to sort of change the format a bit and give the public something a bit more tangible. You've got different points of view, and Paranormal Captured, I don't know whether there's going to be a season 3. I've not heard anything. Woodcut Media, the makers of Paranormal Captured, they're very heavy into crime, and they're into crime shows. They make a lot of crime shows, which they're sold all over the world, and they're fantastic. So that they've got their fingers in that pie at the moment. They do have a room for a paranormal show. Whether it be Paranormal Captured, I don't know. Whether it be another show in the making, and they call me up. Of course I'll be there, and I'll happily oblige. Whatever my role is. We had a lot of people calling for me and Laurie Schaefer. They wanted to see us investigate. They'd seen Danny and MJ do their investigating, and then people used to message on Twitter and stuff saying, we want to see Hazel and Laurie out there doing a show, like doing ghost hunts and all that. But it's not what, it's up to Woodcut Media, not us. I'd love to have had the opportunity to have gone out and done some paranormal research in some of the locations, because I don't know what it's like for you guys in Canada, but over here, it's turned into a bit of a money racket. People want a lot of money for you to go into their locations for just a few hours. They'll give you like from 9 till 2, and they'll say, that's like 800, 900 pounds. Yeah, because over here during the pandemic, a lot of teams broke up. A lot of teams struggled because they rely on doing their events. And we were running events ourselves just prior to the pandemic, and we had to, obviously everything changed. That pandemic just changed life, and still has changed life for everyone. We had an event the other day at Shepton Mallet Prison and it's really weird. I found out from one of my cousins only yesterday, told me that my family were from Shepton Mallet, and I never knew that. And Shepton Mallet Prison, what a place. Unbelievable. Just going through the doors alone was scary enough. When they open the big doors and you're like driving in, you feel like you've been sentenced already. What an amazing building though. Honestly, Trevor, fantastic. Well, as a team, the team was put together around 2002, but myself, I've been researching properly since 1996, when I really started to delve into everything, into the paranormal, and that started out with the British UFO Research Association, and wanting to become a field investigator for Bufora. That was my real passion, and I contacted Bufora, got my membership, and I was like, oh God, I just can't, this is what I need to do. But unfortunately, what happened was I was involved in a very serious road traffic accident, which left me paralyzed from the waist down. That changed everything. That was a massive change in my life, but when I get to the end of it, you'll understand why. And I'll give you the short story because it will go on forever. But basically, because of that incident and because of the time I had to spend suffering, it was through all my suffering and all my things that I'd experienced, in learning to walk again, and things like that, changed my soul. It changed my soul as a person and made me more connected in terms of humanity. And what I mean by that is the people I met in hospitals, people that were like completely like quadriplegics, people that had amputations, arms, legs. These are all young people. I was young at the time, and you just learn so much, it really hits you. So you're taken out of normal society that you live in and take for granted every day, and you're so blasé about life, and you can get away with anything, do anything. And then when you're put in a position where you can't fend for yourself anymore, you can't even walk, you can't even stand up, and you're in a wheelchair, that changes everything. And it's I suppose it's like PTSD, and I think you after that, you get through that, it makes you a better person, or more understanding of people's suffering, which makes you more compassionate and everything else, because I was wild. I was very wild. My earlier days, I was like, we won't go into that either. That's for the book. But so my interest in the paranormal, though, I'll be honest with you, stems back to the 70s, from when I was a child. I always picked up the Sunday papers because I couldn't wait to read about a ghost story or a UFO story, or someone seen something, like a Bigfoot. I remember Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World was one of my favourite TV shows back in the 70s. It was broadcast over here in the UK, and I think that's where I first see the Gimlin film. The Bigfoot thing. That's the first time it was ever shown, and that was just like, that was just so unbelievable for me. That was like, the thought of this monster was out there, and as a kid you're like, but obviously we had the Loch Ness monster here, Old Nessie, and I've never even been to Loch Ness. I live in the UK and I've never travelled. I've been to Scotland many times, but I've never been to Loch Ness. My journey into the paranormal doesn't stem from into Spectrum. That stems from my visions, my dreams that I had. That I had them through my teen years, through my younger years to my teen years, but they never really started until my late 20s, when they became so powerful that it changed my perception of the universe, really. I suppose that's when it was sort of like a bit of an explosion in my brain. It was like something's going on, because all of a sudden I was having these prophetic dreams, and I'll call them prophetic dreams because that's exactly what they were. And the most powerful one was the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, and that took place on the 1st of November 95, and that's when I had the dream. And in the dream, I was in Israel. Never been there in my life. Like I said, I've not even been to see Loch Ness, so I've not been to Israel. And I see the Israeli flag, and I was walking down these stairs. It was me walking to a car, and I remember walking up to this car. It was a light coloured car, and someone came up behind me, and I bang, 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 3 shots. I felt the penetration in my lower back, and I remember falling to the floor and turning around, and as I looked up, standing above me was this guy, and he had a white shirt and light blue trousers, same colour as the flag of Israel, and he had the Israeli flag flying above his head. And then I remember dying. I remember just fading away, and I was gone. I woke up and I was like, what the hell was that? And I thought, oh wow, that is terrified me. And it did terrify me, because I actually died in the dream. And 3 days later, Yitzhak Rabin, Israeli Prime Minister, was assassinated in that fashion. And that was the turning point in my life. That was the thing that changed my life completely. Until 1997, when in the February of 97, I had another dream, and that one was the death of Princess Diana, and that happened 6 months after. That happened 6 months after that dream, even though I had it 6 months prior. And I began to sort of work out patterns in the dreams, and symbology, and what it all meant, and the way that the dreams, I began to interpret them, because what happened in that dream was I was in Paris. I was looking at the Parisian skyline, and I could see this. I was watching this car driving to an underpass, and then the underpass collapsed on top of the car, and I see the number 3 rise in black, and then the date August the 31st, September the 1st came together above the top of the Parisian skyline, and the weird thing was the word San Francisco. And at that point, when I see that, all of a sudden there was a huge earthquake, and I see the whole Parisian sort of skyline shaking, and I see everything crumbling. I was like, oh my God, what is this about? Because in the dream, you're just the viewer watching all this. Now, I will tell you, and I'll put my hand on my heart. No, I never see the name Princess Diana. I'm not saying I did, but it wasn't until the day of Diana's death that I see. On the day of her death, she died. On that day, I was like, oh my God, I've got the car, the city, the date, okay, and 3 people have perished. But why San Francisco, and why the earthquake? It wasn't until a week later, when her funeral took place, that there was a young child standing at the gates of Kensington Palace, and as they pulled the gun carriage out, on a t-shirt it said San Francisco. And when I see that, that's when it hit me. So it was a week after, 2 weeks after the death of Diana, when they had the funeral, and I see that t-shirt, then I realised what the earthquake was. It wasn't an earthquake, it was the symbol for me of earth-shattering news. Yeah, so it's like, it's going to shake the world to the core. Whatever this event is, it's huge. Okay, so I remembered that from that point. Then I had another dream, which was flight TWA 800, flight 800. I see the plane take off. I see the plane go up. It exploded. And when it exploded, I see the TWA and the 800, and I see them hurtling towards me. And as they did, it was like a slow motion movie. I remember kicking the wing and the tail of the plane over my head because they were hurtling towards me, and it was like some sort of slow motion kung fu kick I'd done, and I was like, "Wah!" and I booted them over my house, But that one was quite powerful because it was Philip Mantle and Sue. It was Sue Mantle I spoke to from the British UFO Research Association at the time, and I told her about the dream. And because of that, she was a bit weary of me because when I told her about that particular thing, she was like, "Oh my God, my husband Philip is in New York at a UFO conference, and are you trying to tell me that he's going to die in a thing?" And I said, no. I said, "I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you this is what the visions that I have. These are the things that happened to me, and I'm just sharing that news with you." And lo and behold, he was in New York when I believe that happened. That event happened at JFK. One that changed everything for me was on September the 8th, 2001, and that was obviously the events of 9/11. And in that prophetic dream, which I will state that, what happened was, me and my friend Jill were in New York. Never been there in my life ever. We was in a skyscraper, and I was so excited to be there. It's been one of my dreams to get over to the States and travel over there, or through Canada. I'd love to go there, as I've said to you before. And I took her to the window, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, Jill, there's Central Park. Look at that!" I was like, and I went, "Oh, there's the Dakota building. That's where John Lennon was shot." That Beatles fan, and that's where there's the Empire State Building, and Statue of Liberty, and I was pointing out all these landmarks. And anyway, I remember turning around. I said to Jill, "We've got to go to the top of the tower." Those were my words, to the top of the tower, and we've got to get a bird's eye view of everything. I said, "This is a dream come true." I remember looking over to the clock, and it was 10 to 9. I said, "Come, let's go." And I remember when I got to the elevator, I pushed the elevator button, and the elevator started to come down, but then there was a power cut. All the lights went out, and there was like a when you turn a generator off, and you hear that like noise, like you turn the generator off, and it was like all the power went out, and everyone started panicking, and they were all going like, oh my god, and I was like, "Don't worry," I said, "it's just a power cut. We get them in England, quite a lot, so I'm sure everything will be back on. Just don't worry about it." So I said, "Come, Jill, we still wait for the elevator anyway." And with that, all of a sudden, all the power's come back on, right? So I turned around and I said to everyone, "See, there you go." I said, "There's nothing to worry about." So anyway, with that, the elevators come down, and then as the elevator door opened, standing in the elevator were about a dozen people, and they were covered in white powder and blood, and their eyes were pure white. They were looking out as if they were just completely lost, like they didn't even know where they were. But all I remember seeing was just pure thick powder with blood running down. And I was like, oh, I said, "Jill, I am not going. We've got to go. We've got to get out of here, Jill. This is not right. Something's wrong." And with that, the elevator door started to close in slow motion. Yeah, again, very slowly. And at the point the elevator doors touched, it was like a 1,000,000-ton fist came from wherever and punched that tower from the base, and you could feel the whole tower vibrate, and it was like an avalanche noise, that rumbling. And I remember I leant over to Jill to grab her arm, and I was like, "Jill," and as I barely got a finger on her, Trevor, that half of the building came crashing down. I remember standing on the edge looking over them, and I looked up and I was like, "Oh." And with that, the floor gave way, the ceiling came down, and I remember falling at a rapid rate, and I went from light to grey, from grey. There was no pain, no suffering, but just the sensation of falling into black and into the dark. And when I hit the floor, my body, whatever, bounced about 40 feet up into the air, and then I just came down very slowly, very gently, and I just hit the floor. And when I lay there, a voice said, "On this day, 2,985 shall die, and a war shall rage upon the planet for 16 years and will escalate 4 years until the end." I can't tell you what happened to me after that dream. Jill was staying at my place with her granddaughter. She came into me on the Sunday morning. I woke up at 4:30 and never went back to sleep. She came into the room, and she said to me, I said, "Jill, please sit down. What I'm about to tell you you are not going to understand. I said, I've had one of my dreams. I said, but this one has terrified me. I said, I don't know how, don't know why. All I see was me. I explained the dream as I explained to you. I said, I'm telling you, Jill, something's going to happen in New York, and it's thousands of people are going to lose their lives. And I don't know, it could be a massive earthquake. Something's going to happen. I don't know why, but I need to get this out. Now, at the time, I was being visited by the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. The only reason I had them in my house was because of my previous visions. And I said to them, you can come into my house and talk about whatever you want, the universe, God, whatever you want. I just want to know what your interpretation is of the universe, of what you believe God is. I said, but you have to listen to me if I have any of my dreams or visions. That was back in the June. They visited me every week. 2 guys, Elder Muzzer, Elder Miller. Okay, these guys were visiting me, and I was very gracious, and I gave all my time up talking to them because I wanted to learn. And there was also a woman over the road who lived opposite me who was a Jehovah's Witness. Her name was Karen. On the Sunday, I rang up the 2 missionaries and I said, please, you have to bring the Book of Revelations to my house on Monday. Something's going to happen, and I want you. And I gave them all the details. I wrote it down for them. Okay, and I said, you have to come to see me on Monday and bring the Book of Revelations with you. They said, we will come around Monday, but we can't bring you the book, right? So I went to Karen, the Jehovah's Witness, and I asked her, because I knew she'd have a copy. He gave me the Book of Revelations, and they visited my home, and they said, Hazel, only Jesus has the gift of prophecy, and this whatever this is that's happened to you is evil, right? On the Wednesday, the day after that, they brought a bishop to my house, one of their bishops, who condemned me in my living room and said, you are in league with the devil and pulling my missionaries away from you. For real. That story, and it ain't a story, that truth, that Trevor, that happened, it's real. It happened, it's real. I did not want it to happen. I didn't ask for it to happen. I don't ask for these things to happen to me. Okay? I know this pain, the suffering that happened at that period. I witnessed it. I was watching it live on TV. It was horrific. It was the most upsetting thing that scarred the whole of humanity. It's literally, even to this day, it still echoes through the whole of the human race that was living at the time and witnessed this. It was something that was just so biblical in what happened. And you know what? I'm not the only person on earth that had an experience. There were people that had visions that they was in the planes. There were people that had visions that they were firefighters on the floor watching the towers come down. There were people that had visions, and you've got to ask yourself, and because I wanted to know what was this all about? Why did we all have this? And I got my answers through my research that and I asked inwardly to the universe why. It devastated me. It screwed my mind. Jill had to go into a psychiatric unit for 6 weeks. it made her so ill that because she had heard what had happened, it sent her down a very dark, slippery slope, you know, because she couldn't believe that this dream, that this thing that I'd told her had happened. It was horrific, you know. And what do you do with that information? What do I didn't know what to do. I didn't ring people up and start going, oh yeah, you know, ring up the papers or ring up anyone, you know, airline companies and all that, because I didn't know it was like such a powerful thing. But the after effects, that it changed my whole perception of everything, Trevor, and that's why I am where I am today, because that quest for answers has driven me, and I'll carry on doing this to the end, you know, Trevor, because I have to know, not just for myself but for the rest of humanity, you know, that we do have an ability to tap into these events, because I believe that because of the mass suffering of what was about to happen, we as humans are connected electronically through our neurons, through the quantum field of space itself. We're able to tap into this quantum field with our consciousness and see these things, but the brain interprets the events completely different to everyone's perspective of how the events unfold. So, you know, I don't have these visions now, and you know, I've not had anything like for years and years and years. They ended about in 2004, 2005. I stopped having, you know, I don't know why, it just stopped. There was like nothing left. That's what started me on the research path, the real research, like, because it was such a powerful thing in my life, you know. And I won't lie to you. I mean, you know, my team, you know, I banged the drum from 2001 onwards. The same thing. I kept telling them about the 16-year war and the 4-year countdown to the end. And that, when you look at it, you know, and I stuck to that, and they were like, yeah, blah blah blah, very blasé. The whole team were. They're like, yeah. Oh God, here we go, the dream again. She's on about the dream, but that is my drive. It is because of what happened. If it happened to you, you wouldn't be able to deal with the thing in your mind. You'll be so, you know, disturbed by it, as I was. It's so disturbing because you know that you've had this thing happen to you, and you know it's event and it's so horrific. It scarred my mind completely. Absolutely scarred my mind, and I don't even think my heart attack that I had was as scary as that. And that's the truth. And I mean, I've had a heart attack, and I'm still here. You know, and I've been paralysed 3 times. I'm still here, and I've got up each time, and said to my brain, no, you've got to get up. You can't just lay here and vegetate and waste away. You've got a mission. You've got a quest. You've got to do this. Look, after my heart attack, Trevor, I could have just sat down and said, you know what? That's it. I've done my bit. Goodbye, thank you, sayonara. No, I got up, and something in me was saying, get up, and you ain't finished. You need to, and it was not long after the heart attack, really, when I started to get myself together. And I've had heart failure as well. So I've been through a lot. I've been through a hell of a lot because of I do have medical issues. And lately, well, funny enough, just only a few weeks ago, I was in bed for 5 days, completely unable to walk. Something happened, my back just went, and I was literally laid up. But I done it again. I said, "Get up!" My brain was like, "No, you can't just lie there." And something just keeps switching on. That and I suffered. And to be honest with you, at the moment, well, the last thing I investigated was the Shepton Mallet prison, but I had to take a break and miss sort of like the last half of the investigation because I just couldn't do it anymore. So I just let the team carry on, and it's heartbreaking for me. Yeah, it is heartbreaking for me, but that's because I'm going through a situation at the moment where I'm I will repair again, right? I'm focusing on how to repair that part of my body, okay? So, and this is what I do with my brain. I tell my brain to heal that part, and I say, come on, you get to work on that bit there, and where the pain is, go and sort it out. And it's sort of like qigong, I suppose. It's a bit like using the mind energy to control certain things. And I believe that, because when I was having my heart attack, it was the same thing. I was laying there and I was saying, right, okay, you're dying. No, you're not. In fact, you're not dying. So just think you're not going to die. You're lying here, okay, you can see the surgeons, they're working on your heart, but they had to keep me awake. So I was actually watching my heart operation being done on the screen. I've actually got it on video, believe it or not. This is how crazy I am. I bought the 2 discs from the hospital that show my heart attack, my heart operation being done, which I've only watched it once. It's quite weird. But it was a psychological thing with me, because I look at it as if it ain't me, like an out-of-body experience me. It's like I'm looking at the video of someone having a heart attack, so it makes me feel like I haven't actually had one. Sounds a bit weird, but anyway, that's how my brain works. So what we've got coming up in terms of, we're going to go back round London, and we're going to do like a little recce. We're going to go to a few locations in London, so I'm nearby to my mum, because I've got to be close to my mum at the moment, because there are personal reasons. So we're going to be going to some of the old inns and bars around London, because they got a fantastic history. Some of these places, there's one pub in particular, which is the Morpeth Arms, and it still has underneath the Morpeth Arms, which is on the Millbank, just near Big Ben, which is, you'd know as Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. And the Tate Gallery was actually built on the site of the Millbank Penitentiary, which was where they used to house the prisoners that they used to send to Australia, the POMs, prisoners of Her Majesty. And they used to go from the Millbank. There used to be a boat there that would take them on the journey to Australia. But the prison cells are still underneath the Morpeth Arms, and they used the cells as or part of the cells to store all the like barrels and stuff under the pub. But they've kept the cells in their original state, which is fantastic. And I've investigated there many years ago, and it was just absolutely fantastic, fascinating site. So we're probably going to check that place out and just see if we can acquire a few local venues that are very small and so on. We do have another one coming up, which is I can't reveal the details, but I will tell you this: it involves a mine, a copper mine, a Roman copper mine. It involves a relic relating to the Holy Grail, which is all part of this copper mine. And we have acquired this location for us to manage and control. And it's really weird because one of the stones that they found on the site, and I find this very strange, one of the stones they found on the site has a lion on the stone, and at the back of the lion's stone is a niche, sort of, where they said allegedly that when they pulled the stone out, behind the stone was a cup, and this cup was taken by I think it was the Knights Templar down to Glastonbury. Now they found another stone, and that stone had the eagle on. Okay, and there are two stones missing. One is the serpent, and one is the bear. And they are from the Book of Revelations. The eagle, US, the lion, UK, the bear, Russia, the serpent being China. And it's really weird because when I look back at the dream I had in 2001, and it said until the end of the 16-year countdown, the 4-year countdown to the end, what happened was in 2021, the Afghan war came to an end, which was the war from what happened because of 9/11, and the war that continued from that point up until the end of 2021. And then now we're in what seems to be some sort of apocalyptic kind of world now. We're on this verge of, there's all crazy talk all the time within the media. They're forever putting in World War III, this is World War III. It's like they're promoting it. It's like they're trying to bring it on. They don't think about what we want in life and what just the general public, who just want to just carry on living their lives and enjoying life and who cherish life. These powerful people, they seem to have the control over everything that, it's like we're losing everything because of, I don't want to go into it because it'd be too clear. I'm not going to go down that road. This is a paranormal show, but it bothers me because of that whole vision, that whole dream that I had. It bothers me personally because we're at that point now, Trevor. And I will speak my mind. I will speak freely about this because this is something that is very close to me and what I've been through to get to this point. And it just seems really ironic that I'm at the point where, and like I managed to acquire this location, and it has the 4 stones there, which are the, which depict what apparently is in the Bible about the Valley of Armageddon, and where, the lion, the bear, the eagle, and whatever will meet in the Valley of Armageddon, in Megiddo, which is just, it just all seems very bizarre. I could be reading into it. I might just be sort of reading into that side of it. But for me personally, it just seems really unusual, really bizarre. And it's like sort of spooked me out a bit. And I'm thinking like, oh, well, I only just found out about these stones, by the way, in this location. So it's a bit of a thing for me. And then while I was there, they gave me a book on the Holy Grail. And I don't know, my journey, my paranormal journey is, for me, it's not just about ghosts. It's not just about UFOs. It's about consciousness and the real connection between living and death, and that consciousness, and how we still connect with one another. I just had a message from a friend of mine tonight who just lost her husband, and I said to her, your husband has taken half of you with him so that he can keep you together still. And that obviously really hit home for her, because that's how I see it. You know, when you connect with someone and they become your other half, yeah, you do, you take on half of each other's life. And that bond is, you know, something that is special, especially when love's involved. And this is what I believe, even when I research, even when I'm out researching, I put a lot of my heart into, my emotional heart, love, energy into what I do. So, because I believe that's the way to connect with spirit, not just through screaming your head off, shouting and saying, you know, I believe that you talk from your heart and you say, you know, how you feel and what you want them to feel, and you ask them and say, you know, please, I'm talking from my heart, just come through and let us know that you're there, you're on the other side. I'm not asking for much, I'm just asking for whether it be a noise, a click, a bang, a tap, and, you know, just some indication that you're here with us. And that's how I investigate, you know. Someone pointed something out to me, and you know, it was basically, they said to me, and yeah, bless him, Tim, lovely man, and he said to me, you know, the same as what you're saying, because you get a lot of people saying, you know, oh, I'm not here to harm you, I'm not here to do this, and you know, we just want to talk to you, and you know, I'm not going to hurt you. And he made a very good, valid point. He said, you don't go up to someone in the street and say, hi, my name's Trevor, I'm not going to hurt you. He said, you know, you go up to them and say, hi, I'm Trevor, how are you? Those, you know, and I was like, yeah, I said, actually, you're right. I said, why do I keep saying things like, I'm not going to hurt you? Yeah, no, I will confess. That's fine. I mean, I confess. I do actually, and I have many times announced myself. Hi, my name's Hazel. You know, what's your name? Can you just give me your name? Blah 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 blah. And I have a recording from a place called Pluckley in Kent, which is one of the most haunted villages in the UK, and is actually in the Guinness Book of Records as the most haunted village in the UK. And we done the Screaming Woods in Pluckley, and there was about 20 of us, and I had an SB7, and I was calling out, and I said, hi, I said, you know, my name's Hazel, can you say Hazel? So just say my name, Hazel. And you literally hear Hazel like that come through on the thing, and then we're all going like, oh my god, it said Hazel, and then you hear Hazel. I'm definitely going to send you that, because you have to hear it. It's a fantastic EVP, so clear, it's absolutely crystal clear. If you look at Edgar Casey, I mean, you know, the Akashic records, where we're all supposed to, our names are all in the Akashic records. So I mean, you know, if they've got access to that, then surely, yeah, of course they know exactly who we are. And you know, I mean, this is the whole thing with the paranormal. Okay, so obviously everyone has their own perception of how things are. Okay, mine is through my personal experiences, through my dreams, my visions, whatever I've seen. One perfect example, flight MH 370, okay, the Malaysian Airlines. The day before it happened, a woman around the corner, okay, we had them over for dinner, and I had a dream that day, and I see a plane flying across the back of my house here, and I was standing in the street watching this aircraft, and from the front to the back of the fuselage, the whole plane was alight, and then 6 black discs came down, literally, from the sky, and each disc took the front, the back, the wings, and they just lifted this aircraft out. And I'll just watch this plane literally being lifted out, straight into the clouds, out into the upper atmosphere, and gone. It was gone out into space. They took the craft away. I said to this woman, and she was there with her husband, and I said to her, I've had one of my dreams.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh my God, can you believe it? Alexa talking. Shut up. And I turned around and said to her, I said, I didn't even mention her name, so I don't know why she's talking. So I turned around and said to her, tomorrow a plane will disappear from the face of the earth and no one will ever find it. And she said to me, oh, don't be so silly, Hazel. Nothing like that can happen. There's no such thing as that. And I said, you watch. So you mark my words. And her face hit the floor the next day. In fact, she, because that's when they came over for dinner. And when I sat there and I said to her, Carol, I said, have you seen the news? And she was like aghast. She was like, and I said, yes. So I told you yesterday that a plane will disappear off the face of the earth. And she went, oh, they'll probably find it in a week. I said, no. I said, this plane is gone. I don't know where, but I just know it's gone. The plane has vanished. The dream, in the dream that I see, I didn't see the word Malaysian Airlines. I didn't see MH370. I didn't see any of that. I just see a plane from the fuselage, from the front to the back, all through the windows. You can see flames burning, and then these 6 black discs came down. This could be symbology. It could be that it was to show me that the plane was disappearing, or it won't be found. Or it might be found, but it might take 60 years. Maybe what the 6 black discs might mean 6 decades will pass before it's found. Okay, so it doesn't mean to say that it was taken up into space as in like aliens took it away, or I'm not claiming that. I'm just claiming on the Friday I had the dream, and on the Saturday when they came round for the meal, I face hit the floor, and then after that she took a funny turn, and we had to put her down into the bed to lay down. She took a really strange turn after that, and but yeah, it was only brief, only for about an hour. She just went all weird and sort of thingy. I don't know whether it got the fact that I told her the day before what was going to happen. I'm quite happy, right? I mean, what I've told you tonight, okay, because some people can't handle this.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of people that can't handle this, especially at this time that we're in.
Yeah.
Okay. And I myself have lived with this for many years. Okay. And I was hated on once because of this. They said I'll burn this. Now this just proves you. It goes back to an interview I've done with Business Insider, when I said the same thing about my dreams, and I had people saying, "Oh, burn the witch," and and all this. But you see, the thing is, since that Business Insider interview, it just goes to show where we are now, right? How even back then, and what I'm talking about, that was about 6 years ago when I had that Business Insider interview, and I even said on the Business Insider interview about the visions, the dreams. They left out the portion about the 16-year war and the 20-year countdown to the end. Don't know why they did. I've had several interviews and they all leave that, they all exclude that thing from it. Don't know why. Maybe it's because they don't want it to be so terrifying at the end. But we are at where we are, and humanity at the moment is in desperate need of a massive. I think there's so much fear out there now. There's a lot of fear, and it kills me. It absolutely breaks my heart, because we shouldn't be at this stage now. Because don't you think we've seen enough devastation on this earth to last for all eternity? It's about time we changed the tune. And how we do this, I don't know. I mean, it's only through love. It's only through compassion and love.